Bop, bop, let's go. Geeks are back in the building. We got a UFC fight night going down in London, England. Headliner, the man, Tommy Aspinall, coming out against Marcin Tybura. What a matchup. We'll get to that at the end. Every single fight from the bottom to the top. Your boys just went nearly perfect on the last card. We were a split decision away from the sweep. We're getting there. We're going to get one. Don't fret that. First fight of the night. Let's get right into this. We got Rafael Filho, 14-3, coming out against Daniel Barez, 16-5. I'm taking Filho. I hope I'm saying his name right, but this kid's fucking good, man. This kid's good. Very well-rounded, good jiu-jitsu, quick on the feet, as you can imagine for a flyweight. Daniel Barez has his hands full. We're going to see what he's got. That's kind of where I'm at. Dano, what you got?
I'm taking Filho too. I liked him in his last performance, even though he did get the L. He showed a lot against Muhammad Makayev. And then I just look at Daniel Perez. He's a 34-year-old. I think he's debuting. And then we got Filho, who's 30, which is, we all know, that's prime age for these UFC fighters. Coming off one of those losses where even though he did lose, his stock rose. So that's rare. He's got to be having at least a little momentum going. So I'm going to ride with him to show out in front of a big crowd.
Big time. Goosey.
I'm seeing people picking Berez, but I'm gonna go with what I know. I'm picking Jafel Filho. Not too familiar with Berez. I know he's gonna come out and try and wrestle on the Contender Series. He was shooting a lot of takedowns. Filho, I think he's slick everywhere. He's definitely got the danger factor here, and I'm gonna take a chance that he snatches up a sub when Perez starts getting tired and really getting sloppy on these takedowns. Filho almost got one on Makayev in the third round last time out. I think as this fight goes on, he's going to keep that danger factor, probably snatch up a choke.
Fair enough. Let's move into this next one. We got a female boot. Strawweights. Bruna Brasil, 8-3-1. This is she's a prospect for sure. I know she kind of looked she kind of flopped in her debut, but this chick is really tall. This chick is really good striker. She's coming out against Shauna Bonin, who is a 5-0 Irish woman who's making her debut. She's coming off 3 decision wins. It looks like she likes to wrestle. Her 2 finishes come by ground and pound and TKO. So, I mean, it's kind of put out there. She needs to take Bruna Brazil down or she's in trouble. So we're going to kind of see what Shauna's got. I'm going to ride Bruna Brazil just because I know that she is dangerous as hell. And if Shauna doesn't have the gas tank, she's screwed. So I'll ride that. 15 minutes for a finish. Female boot, strawweight. Yeah, I'm there. What do you got, Goosey?
I'm going to go with Bruna Brazil here. I think she's definitely going to have the advantage on the feet. She's pretty good at getting up off the ground. I don't think the takedown defense is the best, but Shauna Bannon here, I mean, if she's not coming in UFC caliber, I think Bruna Brazil is going to get over on her because Brazil has proven to be pretty solid. She had a tough fight out last time against Denise Gomez, who's absolutely rolling right now. So I'm going to go with Bruna Brazil decision.
Yeah, I lost to Denise Gomez. Does not look bad after that last outing. What do you got, Dano?
I'm playing devil advocate here. I'm gonna ride with Bannon. I think she's like Molly McCann in the sense of once you see her, whether it's at weigh-ins or an interview or something, you're either gonna like her or you're really gonna dislike her. She's got that accent that just you can tell right away, and she is pretty cocky. So I'm gonna ride the hype train, put a little faith in her, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? Take the over. All right, moving to the next one. 155 pounds. Chris Duncan, 10-1, coming out against Yanal Ashmouz, 7-0. I'm taking Yanal Ashmouz here. For some reason, I look at this matchup and it's just, I feel like it's right out there for you if you've seen both these guys' last couple fights. I mean, Chris Duncan on the Contender Series, he came out, he fought that Long Island boy, Charlie something, and he got rocked in the first round badly. He was kind of getting the work put on him. And then out of nowhere, kind of hit a home run, hit that Hail Mary, got out of there, got into the UFC. That's kind of Chris Duncan's story. Yanal Ashmouz just been putting guys away. And Yanala Schmooze has got the power that I don't know if Duncan's going to be able to take that. And it's only going to take one. Too powerful, too dangerous, too much time. Taking inside. What do you got, Goose?
I'm gonna go with Chris Duncan here. I think that chin has proven to be durable. Yes, he does get rocked, but he weathers the storm well. Yanala Shmooze, he's a wrestler with power. He's not going to be a crisp striker that's really coming out and picking shots. He's going to have an overhand and he's going to have takedowns. And I think that brawling, just wear you out style of Chris Duncan, he's going to be able to stay in the fight early and then take over late as it goes on. I see him, even though he might be too gassed to get the finish, Duncan by decision wouldn't be bad. It's either going to be probably him getting KO'd early or getting it to the later rounds, getting the late finish or a decision win. So I'm going to pick Chris Duncan here.
What do you got, Daniel?
Are any of you guys looking at the line for this fight? Do you have it in front of you?
Duncan switched to a favorite. I think he started out an underdog.
I would. What I like about this fight is the line because I'm pretty sure Yanal is going to be a dog, or at least is a dog right now, and I think that he's going to touch up Chris Duncan. I like this as a dog pick. Chris Duncan is live. We've seen him with knockout power. We've seen him with durability, but you'll hear the crazy Contender Series knockout Duncan had. He's got crazy power, but if you watch that Contender Series fight, he was getting peppered. He was getting dropped. Even 38-year-old Omar Morales was touching him up, where I kind of feel like Omar Morales is kind of just sent in there to lose to Duncan. And he still had a little bit of success. I think that Yanal Eshmoosh will be able to get some power going, find that chin, and especially Duncan or this early on in his career, if your chin's getting tested this much, it's gonna crack sooner or later. So I'm giving it to Yanal.
Fair enough. And just a confirmation on that line, it's Yanal is plus 125 right now, Chris Duncan minus 150. So yep, we're taking the dog. We're moving into the next one. We got Ketlin Vieira versus Pani Kianzad. Wow, dude, that's an over. That's over 2.5, fellas. You can lock that up. That's about all I'm gonna say about this one. Pani she's a scrappy mofo. I'm gonna say that about Pani real quick. She is not easy to get out of there, and she is a tough fight for anybody. Just Ketlin Vieira is kind of a bully, so I feel like we might see a little bit of a beatdown, but I think it'll last 15 minutes. So give me Ketlin, give me the over. What do you got, Dano?
I like the over in this one. To me, it's a coin flip. Both these girls are pretty good. They're both in the prime of their careers. I like the over as the main play in this one.
Pani got them leg kicks too, though. What you got, Goosey?
We go with Pani Kianzad here. I like that she's got that dog in her. She's always just going in there looking to scrap. And Ketlin Vieira is someone that we do see try and stall fights out up against the clinching, up against the cage at times. And I think that Pani Kianzad's really just going to be going from Jump Street here. Probably if they are close rounds like I'm anticipating, I think Pani Kianzad might just be doing that a little bit extra to sway the judges. So Kianzad decision.
I couldn't be happier with the fact that we're split with no decision on this fight. Let's go to the next one. We have got a middleweight scrap. Brian Barberena, 18-10, coming out against Makhmud Muradov, 25-8. Why is it that every time I look at a Brian Barberena fight, he is plus 250? Like, is that just me, or is it the last 4 fights? This guy is always major dog. And you always got the people trying to fight for, he's got the bombs in his hands. Barberena's got to do it. He's got to do it again. Same story, another fight. Barberena needs a big shot or he's done for. Muradov is the up-and-comer, the more well-rounded guy. As long as Muradov doesn't come in here and do some stupid thing like try to exchange bombs with Barberena in the pocket, plenty of paths to victory in my eyes. So I'm taking Muradov here. What do you got, Goose?
Dude, I think I'm overthinking this to the point where I might pick Barberena. Just because Muradov's gas tank's really bad. Overall, welterweight is a much tougher division than 185. Obviously, I see the threat that is imposed early, but Brian Barberena, when he wins, it is kind of that slobber knocker that you're like, how did you just survive that? Oh, now you're winning the fight. So I could see something like that. That 185 no weight cut chin probably going to be a little bit better for Barberena. And stylistically, I could kind of see him starting to walk down Muradov at the end if he can survive early. That's a big if, but he's also a big underdog. So I might just throw a little sprinkle on Brian Barberena.
What do you got, Dano?
I'm taking Murdoch. I think Barberena is one of the rare 34-year-olds that's like kind of washed over his prime, just because he does have that brawler stand and bang, like Goose was saying. How did you survive that? That's kind of what Barberena is, but he has so many miles on him. And Muradov's got a pretty good ground game. We saw him with Kai Baralho last fight, go back and forth, go to a decision. I think that he's going to want to stick to that game plan because we saw Barberena last time, I think, was in London against Gunnar Nelson, totally outclassed on the ground, made quick work of him, and RDA fight before that, submitting him on the ground. I think Muradov sub is a live play for this one.
Word. Let's get into the next one. We got a heavyweight scrap. We got Tommy Aspinall's brother right here. Not literally, but his teammate, Mick Parkin, 6-0, coming out against Jamal Pogues, 10-3. I'm all over Jamal Pogues in this one. I know there's gonna be a lot of hype on Mick. I'm not exactly sure what the line is, but I will tell you that this guy Mick Parkin has not fought anybody. He's got a win. His first win was a 1-10, then he goes 2-17, 2-3, 7-7, 6-9. Finally gets a 5-0 win to get into the UFC on the Contender Series. I just don't see it, man. I mean, this is a real dude in Jamal Pogues, very big, athletic dude that has a great jab. He needs to get this fight to the mat or he's going to be in a bad spot. What do you got, Dano?
I'm going to ride with Mick. And just because I don't have trust in Jamal Pogues, we saw him on the Contender Series, and then he went to a decision with Josh Parisian, who I feel like if you're a heavyweight that's going to be really anything, I feel like you got to finish Josh Parisian. I think we saw him get eaten up with leg kicks, if I remember, in that fight. So Mick, he's gonna have a good game plan. He's gonna have a little chip on his shoulder too, like you were saying. He's Aspinall's boy in London. This is his time to shine. I'm thinking he's gonna get it done.
Let's go, Goosey. What do you got?
We'll go with Jamal Pogues. I remember Mick Parkin from the Contender Series. That was just such a sloppy fight where he was getting beat up and then the guy like gassed out, but he also couldn't grapple. He was new to MMA, and Mick Parkin ended up getting like a TKO or something on him, or I think a submission actually, and the guy just like threw his chin in the air. But either way, Jamal Pogues, I kind of like the skill set a little bit chonk at heavyweight, but he's got some good skills to make up for it, and it's a pretty flabby division in general. So I think the jab will keep him off. He's got a decent right behind it, mix a few leg kicks in. Pogue probably gets that decision.
All right, let's go. We're moving into the next one. We got Mark Diakise, 16-6, fighting Joel Alvarez, 19-3. This is a lightweight scrap. Dude, I've been waiting for Joel Alvarez to come back, man. I'm a big fan of Joel Alvarez. I love this dude. He is so fucking dangerous. I mean, you take him down, he's got elbows from the bottom. He's got jiu-jitsu, hard submission attempts. Obviously on the feet, Diakise hasn't been doing that much lately. He's been kind of relying on his wrestling. So I think if he's relying on his wrestling in this matchup, that's a bad idea because Joel Alvarez is going to put him in some tough spots. Not saying it's an easy fight by any means, but these guys are both going to take a licking, and I'm seeing Joel Alvarez coming out on top. I could see like a late finish. So, yeah, I'll ride like a Joel Alvarez like round 3 sub, or like maybe he gets it in 2, but something like that. What do you got, Dano?
I'm with you exactly. I like Joel Alvarez. I'm a fan of him, but we haven't seen him in a while. That's because he went to war with Sarukian, but he did the right thing. He took a lot of time off. He, got his camp back around him, got his wits about him, because that was a crazy fight with Sarukian. But coming into this Diakise fight, what we've seen from Diakise, like you were saying, is heavy wrestling game plan. When you go up against someone like Michael Johnson, who does have good takedown defense, in Orlando, I believe that fight was, he was stuffing all Diakiese's takedowns, which pretty much nullified the ground game. I feel like Joel Alvarez is going to have better takedown defense than Michael Johnson just because he's a younger, more athletic. He's definitely going to be bigger than Diakise. Let me look at this. 6'2" for Alvarez versus a 5'8" Diakise. If he gets stuck on the feet, it's going to be a bad night for Diakise, which I think is going to happen. Give me Joel Alvarez inside the distance.
That's a big lightweight. What you got, Goosey?
Taking Joel Alvarez, and I'm putting him officially on Gilly watch here. I think he snatches up the guillotine Ferda. And yeah, 15 minutes. He's gonna have to play a safe game plan in Diakise, really keep him. I mean, you can't even keep him at range because he's got reach over you. I assume part of the game plan is going to be shooting takedowns. And if you're on the ground with this guy for too long, he's kind of like an octopus down there. He's just wrapping you up with those long limbs. I personally think he snatches that gi up on the way in. So I'm going to go Alvarez by sub.
Let's go. We're moving to the next fight here. We got Danny Roberts, 18-7, coming out against Johnny Parsons, 8-3. This is a welterweight scrap. Haven't seen Johnny Parsons in a minute. I mean, I want to say the last time we saw him was on Contender Series in that Solomon Renfro fight. Like, I'm not sure if I've seen him since. Split decision. He definitely lost that fight, by the way. But here he is in the UFC. He's got some really sick Muay Thai, and that's about it. Danny Roberts, though, not really known for much than being that kickboxer himself. So I think this is going to be an absolute banger. These guys are going to come out, throw some gloves, get after it. I think that they're lining this fight up kind of for Johnny, man. I mean, they're giving him a favorable stylistic matchup, and wrestling Johnny's really the best move. And I'm not sure if Danny's going to have that in his pocket. So I will take Johnny Parsons in this. Styles make matchups, but I would not be surprised if Danny catches him because I'm not sure if Johnny's exactly UFC caliber. We'll have to find out. What do you got, Dano?
I'm going to take a shot on this one just because I feel like this is a fight for Danny Roberts. Just for some reason, when I look at this, I feel like that. But we got a 36-year-old Danny Roberts who has had that chin touched. He's not the most active. I'm looking at his record. He's got quite a few like cancellation fights throughout his years, which really slowed him down. But then I look at Johnny Parsons and I see a dude with a mullet and I see a dude with the nickname the Slugger Knot. When you're going up against a dude, an old guy like Danny Roberts, who has been touched up on the feet and whose main style is to stay on the feet, I'm going to take the Slugger Knot with the mullet. Give me inside the distance, Johnny Parsons.
Interesting. I thought you were about to flip. What do you got, Goose?
I'm gonna go with Danny Roberts. I wasn't a huge fan of Johnny Parsons on the Contender Series. And then I think in what is shaping up to be a stand-up bout, Danny Roberts, he's got a little bit better outside game. Parsons is really trying to get inside, throw those bows, but he doesn't have the best ways to get in. And I think Danny Roberts, he's got a pretty good camp. He had a good fight with Trinaldo, which, to be honest, getting knocked out by JDM his last fight happens. The fact that he was able to go to decision with Trinaldo, I think that the chin will hold up. And I think that he will be skilled enough to get past Johnny Parsons in this one.
Yeah, no, definitely. That could switch for me. This one's definitely in the air. So we'll see. Stay tuned to the sheet. We're moving to the next one. We got a bantamweight scrap. Davey Grant, 13-6, coming out against Daniel Marcos, 14-0. Dude, this kid, Daniel Marcos, is good. This kid's really good. He's got hella stamina. He's just super well-rounded. Like, that's what I think of when I see Daniel Marcos. I feel like this kid can kind of do everything. And I don't think Davey Grant's going to be the guy to derail what he's kind of got going. So I'm going to ride Daniel Marcos here. I think he's going to win a decision. We all know how fucking tough Davey Grant is. You're going to have to hit this dude with an absolute cinder block about 14 times just to put him down. So I'm taking Daniel Marcos by decision. I think he's just going to kind of outmaneuver Davey Grant throughout this fight. What do you got, Dano?
I'm going to take a pretty casual take on this. I'm just going to look at a 37-year-old Davey Grant who's got a lot of miles on him. And then I'm looking at an undefeated, I guess you would say prospect. He is 30 years old, which is a good age. But that undefeated really sticks out. big spot. They are the prelim headliner. They're going to be debuting, or they're going to be spotlighting someone in this spot, and I don't think it's going to be the 37-year-old, 15-6 Davy Grant. Give me Daniel Marcos. But I don't know how he gets it done because, like you said, Davy Grant is a dog and he loves to bang. So give me Marcos. You pick what happens.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good test of Daniel Marcos's toughness. What do you got, Goosey?
Going with Davy Grant. I think he's been fighting at a pretty high level in the UFC bantamweight division, which might be the best singular weight class on earth right now. And Daniel Marcos, he hasn't proven to me that he is in that top tier. He's good. Obviously, you can see the skills, but he's doing it against the Simon Oliveira's guys that have holes in their game. Davy Grant, he's definitely got openings as well, but he's so dangerous that if your timing's not perfect, he's going to kind of get you to a spot where he's putting it on you a little bit. And Daniel Marcos, unless he is kind of that elite of the lead at bantamweight, I think he's going to struggle here against Davy Grant, and that's what I'm planning on.
Fair enough. Let's get into this main card. We got one of my favorite fighters. For real. Lerone Murphy, 12-0-1, coming out against Josh Kulabau, 11-1-1. I'm taking Lerone. This is my boy. I love this guy's fight style. This guy's a beast, man. I mean, and we're looking at, what was that guy? He fought Milk last time out, right? He had an absolute banger, and he really had to dig into his bag to pull that W out. He did. He showed a lot. I think he's kind of getting a step. I mean, I don't think Josh Kulabau is that good, but he's the kind of the guy that always surprises me. I'm always picking wrong on Kulabau fights. So I'm never really confident because one second I think he sucks, the next second he's getting like first round knockouts and chugging beer out of shoes. So I'm nervous, but Lerone Murphy should win. What do you got, Dano?
Give me Lerone Murphy. I am nervous about Kulibao. He is one of those Australian blokes that likes to bang, and he's damn good at it. 11-1-1 record. Hard to overlook, but Lerone Murphy is a stud. He's constantly on these London cards. They love having him, and especially the judges love judging him. He wins decisions. If this fight does go to a decision, I think it's going to lean Murphy's way, with a little bit of UFC nudging. Get me Lerone Murphy and prepare for a banger.
Goose?
Going Kulabau. Maybe I'm off, but I feel like just from what I'm seeing, Lerone Murphy, he kind of has that very clean fight style. And if you can make that messy, we see Gabriel Santos had him rocked at points. He's had other moments in the UFC where even though he does have that undefeated record, he kind of has shown vulnerability in the past. I think that Kulibau's that guy that just makes it dirty enough to sneak you with something that you don't see coming. We see that last time he's losing to Melsick, who's a phenomenal kickboxer. Ends up in a weird exchange, snatching up a sub immediately. Like, you just really got to be on point with this guy, and you kind of got to make it dirty back to him. Where I think Lerone Murphy's really going to try and be fundamental and break him down. I think Kulabau's going to sneak him with something and get a TKO.
Fair enough. We'll move to the next one. Another lightweight scrap. Oh, no, this one's a lightweight. Last one was featherweight. Jai Herbert, Fares Ziam. Damn, dude. This one's tough. These guys look very similar. Talk about two wiry dudes stepping into the octagon. Man, I should be in there with these guys. I'll take Jai Herbert just because I feel like Jai Herbert's a little bit more dangerous. Fares Ziam, I feel like is more of like a point striker. I don't really see him getting too crazy. Man, I don't know. I got a terrible read in this fight. I'll take Jai Herbert in the over. What do you got, Goose?
I'm gonna take Jai Herbert here. I like what he's been doing. He's been taking hard fights. He's been getting in there. He's been active. Fares Ziam, on the other hand, seems to be very passive in his career. I don't see him striving to be top dog. He's just kind of taking fights in Europe that the UFC gives him. I think Herbert's going to just kind of have that little extra tenacity in there for Ziam. Really likes it clean. And I think in a fight where they're both going to be on the outside, Herbert's got a little length. He's got a real good jab, head kick. I think that there's going to be points for him to win this fight. It is hard to catch Ziam, but he has holes in his game that you can exploit and kind of really keep him uncomfortable on the outside. So I'm going to pick Jai Herbert.
It's a fun matchup, though. Not gonna lie. Dano, what do you got?
Give me Jai Herbert. I've been big on Jai Herbert in the sense that he does not win in London. We saw him get knocked out by Tybura. We saw him winning in his last fight, and then it became a draw. And it seems like Herbert just can't win in London. But everything Goose was saying, I agree with. I think he gets it done. He is 35. It's kind of like an now or never because you never know when these London cards are going to pop up. But this could be the one time he wins, and I'm riding with it.
Let's go straight into the next one. We got an 85er scrap middleweights Andre Muniz versus the Bear Jew Paul Craig stepping out. I'm not taking the bait. I'm taking Muniz. His stand-up is, I mean, I was hearing people talk about this fight and they're like, oh, he's a little bit better on the feet. No, dude. Muniz is night and day. This is night and day. Muniz is better than Paul Craig on the feet. It is going to be very, very clear what Paul Craig needs to do when this fight starts. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And even if he gets it to the mat, Muniz is a great submission guy. So I don't see himself falling into some stupid shit. I think Muniz, if it gets down there, he'll be fine. If it's on the feet, he'll be really fine. So give me Muniz inside. I'll even take him round one. What do you got, Dano?
Gotta ride with my guy, the Bear Jew. I think this is not a bad move for him moving down because you look at those weight cuts and you see him on the scale screaming. And yes, of course, we see him screaming at the ceremonial weigh-ins. But if you watch the weigh-ins, the weight cut at 205 really wasn't a bad one for Paul Craig. I feel like these extra what, 15 pounds, 20 pounds won't be too bad for Paul Craig. It's not like one of those things where, oh crap, this guy's cutting down another weight class. No. He's going to be all right. It's just making me nervous because Muniz is no small task. I think we're going to see Paul Craig a little bit bigger than Muniz just because he was a former light heavyweight. And it's kind of like Jai Herbert in the sense of it's now or never for Paul Craig. You know, he's getting up to that age where it's going to be tough to take another bad L. Maybe he can take a hard fought decision L, but you know, Bear Jew doesn't do it like that. He's full throttle. He's going to come around. And I think he's going to bang on the feet. That's my prediction. It's going to be a pretty good fight between these two. Give me the Bear Jew.
Yeah, it's not like he just like randomly took this cut too. I mean, I've been looking at his Instagram. He's grinding to get down to this frame. So very interested to see what the Bear Jew looks like. What do you got, Goosey?
I'm gonna take Muniz. I don't love 20 extra pounds off of that chin that's already been getting rocked at points. Maybe the extra weight helps him get better takedowns, but he doesn't have the best takedowns. Muniz, if he can get him down, he's sus with the jiu-jitsu off his back. I think he's definitely better on top and in dominant positions. But like you said, the striking should favor Muniz, and I feel like both of them are going to have a hard time getting it to the ground. I could see Paul Craig just kind of going with a takedown, but Muniz is probably going to want to keep it on the feet. I'm going to go with Muniz here.
Word. Going to the next one. Nathaniel Wood coming out against Andre Feely, featherweight scrap. I mean, Nathaniel Wood's very good. Andre Feely's very dangerous. This could go either way. I think Nathaniel Wood should put the work on him, but he's got a lot of things to overcome here. So I'm going to take Nathaniel Wood. Very close decision. Very, very close decision. What do you got, Dano?
I do not trust Andre Feely. We've seen him get knocked out before. We've seen him get submitted before. I think Nathaniel Wood does have a lot of hype around him, and it's proven to be, you know, pretty good. He is a legit guy, and he's got a lot of pop. He's very quick. Give me Wood inside distance.
Dude, thinking about it, though, I mean, Andre's probably going to be way bigger than this guy. What do you got, Goosey?
I think the leg kicks are really going to beat Andre Feely up. I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood here. To be honest, though, he's a guy that you kind of never know what you're going to get when he shows up. I feel like just seeing his personality on social media, he's kind of a guy that might let the pressure get to him as, you know, he's in a tough situation. He's coming off an injury right now. I could see him being in his head, but you look at the stats, you look at the pass footage. I think Nathaniel Wood starts getting some leg kicks off and probably gets late TKO, maybe decision win.
Andre Feely is a half foot taller than this man entering the octagon on Saturday. That is a huge concern for Nathaniel Wood bettors at a huge favorite number. I'm nervous. Let's go into this co-main. Molly McCann, 13-5. Julia Stolyarenko. I'm taking the over. No, I think this might be a good under. I don't know, man. Yeah, I think Molly McCann can stay on her feet in this one. I know that's a kind of a crazy thing to ask for, but she's a tough gal. I think she stuffs some takedowns. I think she gets a knockout here. Give me Molly McCann round 2. What do you got, Dano?
I like it. Molly McCann knockout. I feel like Stolyarenko is not too good, and Molly needs this.
she's good for an armbar, though. What do you got, Goose?
Dude, it would be hilarious if Molly McCann did get subbed because this is a complete setup fight for her to win. But I am going to pick Molly McCann here. I think she probably gets the TKO victory. She always gets hyped up in London, and she kind of does have that killer instinct. So I think she goes for it. I think she hits the mark because Julia Stolyarenko, she has tough weight cuts anyways. Remember, she like passed out off the scale one time, had to get canceled. So I just think not adding up for her. I'm going to pick Molly McCann here. TKO, like I said.
Speaking of fights that are getting set up for the boys, let's get into this main event here. Tommy Aspinall, 12-3, coming out against Marcin Tybura, 24-7. Let's be real here, fellas. If Tom Aspinall is even a sniff of the dude that we all think he is going to absolutely sprint through Marcin Tybura. There should be no spot in this fight that Tom Aspinall does not have an advantage. Tom Aspinall, great jiu-jitsu, so athletic with the wrestling, stand-up, top-tier elite. I don't see how he doesn't get this done early. Tom Aspinall, round 1. I wouldn't pick a method because he's so versatile. You don't want to kind of get stumped. Just know it's going to end quick. What do you got, Goose?
I'm picking Tommy Aspinall. I think we all need to hope Tommy Aspinall wins because if he loses, it kind of the death of the future of heavyweight because there's not a lot of talent. There's not a lot of depth in that division right now. We need a Tommy Aspinall to kind of shake things up and start getting back up to that top tier. You know, Marcin Tybura, if he wins, we already know what Marcin Tybura is. He's pretty decent at fighting and has good heart. Tommy Aspinall, very skilled, very good on the feet. He has a solid ground game, but I don't think he'll need to use it. I think the punches rain home. I think Tommy Aspinall gets the KO.
Let's go, Dano.
Give me Aspinall. I think it's pretty easy. You guys have sung the praises. What worries me is he's going 364 days since he tore his ACL or did whatever he did to it. You gotta hope that he's good enough to be back, which means, you know, he's probably training 8 months, 9 months after surgery. He's back into a fight almost a year to the date. Will he be able to survive leg kicks? Will he be able to survive his own movement on the feet? I think so. Give me Tommy Aspinall.
Yeah, I think he kicks him one time in the wrong spot. He pissed off the wrong dude. Those are the picks. Geeks are live. We're hot. Ride us. Let's get it. Check the sheet. Like, comment, subscribe. We out.